Hey, this is Hammer giving you my first battle report against the new Ogre Kingdom's army. Still trying out the same list that I used last time. So at the bottom in the house we have a unit of 12 bowmen, defensive stakes, flaming attacks. Unit of Knights of the Realm there with 2 level 80 paladins and Banner of Eternal Flame. Grail Knights next to them. Knight of the Realm unit with my heroic Killing Blow General there. 2 trebuchets behind them. I have my BSB's unit with the War Banner, Virtue of Duty, and level 4 Prophetess, Lore of Life with Crown of Command. Another trebuchet, my unit of 50 Men-at-Arms with level 1 of Beasts and the Prayer Icon. Another unit of 12 bowmen, off the screen, and 3 Peg Knights at the top. Here's another view from the side of the board, my right side. Going to the Ogre deployment. Here on the left he has 2 Saber Tusks, unit of 4 Mournfangs, had some kind of banner and they had a 2-up armor save. Big unit of Bulls with a Fire Belly. Thunder Tusk with the Always Strikes Last special ability. Next to them we have a big unit of Iron Guts. I know he has his BSB and level 4 in that unit. An Iron Blaster, a unit of Lead Belchers in the woods, 3 Man-Eaters, a Scrap Launcher, and another Iron Blaster. This is my Vanguard move on the right. We go to Ogre turn 1. So moves his lead belchers up through the woods, moves his Man-Eaters up a little bit. In the middle, moves up as you can see. On the left, the Mournfangs kind of wheel around to attempt to get a charge off that hill. And the Saber Tusks take cover in the woods for my archers. During his shooting phase, he gets a nice cannon shot off at my Knights. He kills 2 of them. His other cannon managed to kill 3 of my crew members from one of my trebuchets. And his Iron Blasters, or Lead Belchers rather, shoot at my Peg Knights, kill 1 and put a wound on the other. So going to Brett turn 1, over here on the left, I pretty much stayed in place. He didn't move up any of his units far enough for me to have a reasonable chance of charging them and getting the charge. So kind of wanted him to come to me and take care of him with shooting like I have been. The only problem is the Ogre shooting is no joke anymore, and he was tearing through me during this game, you know, just as much as my trebs were him. Actually, more than my trebs were him. Over here in the middle, move my horde up, and my stubborn paladin unit. Really want to get my peasants into the Iron Guts, just bog them down as long as I can, and hopefully get my BSB into his bowls or combat res the Always Strike Last monster. My Peg Knights march forward and park in front of the Scrap Launcher, hoping to take that thing out of commission. During my shooting phase, my Treb that lost 3 crew member earlier blew itself up anyways, so I landed 1 rock on his bowls, managed to kill 3 of them, and then had another one scattered directly on top of his Thunder Tusk. So was very excited about it, and I rolled a 1 for multiple wounds. So yeah, couldn't get a break there. Another Treb misfires. And my archers, my worthless archers, put their first wound on something and get one off on the Lead Belchers. Going to Ogre's turn 2, he charges my Peg Knights with a Scrap Launcher. Moves up as you can see. I think he fast reformed those Mournfangs to bring him closer to his lines. moves up his lead belchers to get a shot on my peasants, and moves his man-eaters forward also. He dropped another knight with his cannon. I think I made 2 ward saves for the other knights, so that was fortunate. Drops 3 more crews off this trebuchet. Those lead belchers shoot at my men-at-arms and kill a whole bunch of them, so now I'm a little worried because, just has to kill 3 models there with his iron guts, and they're not going to be steadfast. So my only option is to make them as deep as I can my next turn. Alright, so here's how Brett turn 2 started. You can see my BSP's unit got into his bowls, easily, nicely. But all 3 knight units at the bottom failed to charge on his Mournfangs. So I declared charges with all 3 units, and he held with his Mournfangs. And at this point I'm thinking, alright, I got the game. I'm just going to charge in. I only need 1 of my really heavy killy units to get in there with the Mournfangs, beat him, reform, and start rolling up his flanks. So I needed an 8 for 2 of the units and a 9 for 1 of the units, which on 3 dice I'm bound to get 1 of these powerful units into his Mournfangs. But the Bretonnian peasants failed to feed the horses before the battle, so they were tired and they all failed to charge. Disaster. I went from thinking I had the game to I think I just lost it. So that's the beginning of Brett turn 2. So here in the middle, BSP's unit made the charge, as I mentioned. Swift reformed my men-at-arms and moved forward just enough to prevent the iron guts from making the wheel to charge the flank of my BSP's unit. My plan was in the magic phase to just buff that men-at-arms unit as much as possible, +4 toughness, maybe even regrow a couple of them. Due to my failed charges, I knew I was going to need that unit to hold up a lot longer than originally intended. But once we got to the magic phase, I rolled a bunch of dice and I was pretty excited. However, before I got to cast anything, his butcher, I believe, had something called the Hellheart Scroll, or wizards within a certain distance automatically miscast. And I didn't have Throne of Vines up at the time, and I wondered in earlier turns why he threw so many Dispel dice at Throne of Vines, but I found out at this moment. So my prophetess did a big miscast, the worst one you can get. Think strength 10 large template or something. And then she rolled like a 1 or a 2, and it sucked her into the vortex and killed her right away. My other damsel took a wound, but yeah, so my potentially great magic phase turned into nothing. And it dropped a couple knights off my BSP's unit as well. So that scroll was very, very nasty. But in my shooting phase, I at least got a little bit of revenge. This hero treb shot a big rock, and good job, guys. So my plans are still messed up, but at least the Mournfangs failed their panic, and I won't get charged by them. So, despite that glory gained by the peasants, it was followed by another disappointment. My BSP's unit won combat by a ton, purely through combat res. So in that unit, I got a banner, a war banner, a BSB, another one for virtue of duty, a rank, a charge, and I did a fair amount of wounds. So He needed a 4 to stay, and he got it. So very disappointing. You know, with Swift Stride, all that combat res, I was bound to beat him and run him down, but it just was not meant to be.